Hello everyone! Welcome back to my channel. It's Gracie here. For today's episode, we are going to continue with our series about Gracie Travels. And this time, I'm gonna teach you how are you going to get your B1, B2 tourist visa to the United States of America. So if you're planning to visit the United States of America anytime soon, I would suggest that before you lodge your application, you must check their website just to make sure if there are changes with their travel restrictions, because I believe some other countries right now are still closed. So it's good to be safe before you start your application process. So this is just my experience that I'm gonna share with you guys, and I believe that if you will just follow these instructions, you will be able to get your own visa that will last for 10 years. As 2016, when I started my journey about accumulating the documents that I will be needing to the United States, in visiting the United States, so it wasn't really that easy because I was doing it on my own, but with a proper research about how you are going to do it, I believe that you can also successfully apply for B1 or B2 tourist visa. I think a lot of people really likes to do it because it's only in the United States that they will give you this 10 years valid visa, and it means to say you can go in and go out in the country anytime you want, and you will have 6 months maximum of stay there as a tourist. I don't think that other countries are giving us that kind of privilege as a tourist or as as a non-immigrant person, but it's only the United States. So that's why a lot of people really wanted to get this tourist visa to the United States. But then the downside here is that there are also people who experience rejection in their application. So it doesn't really matter whether you are rich or you are poor or you know someone in the US. What matters most is how are you going to present yourself and how are you going to prepare your documents in your application. So this video is for you guys if you are planning to visit the United States anytime soon. Before you start your application, you have to prepare all your documents ready. It is all scanned because everything will be done online. So if you followed my other videos before about how to get visas in the Australia and other countries like Europe, then it's easier for you because I believe you already have the guide about the documents that you needed to prepare. This includes your passport, your old and new passport copies, and then you have also to prepare your birth certificate, marriage certificate, employment record, travel histories, anything that you have like your bank statements to prove that you can support yourself in your travels. And also you have to prepare as well if you have any assets here or abroad to present it to the immigration officer. So since everything will be done online, I would suggest that you scan all these documents and then make it available anytime that you will submit your documents. So basically everything is just in one form. So we call this form as TS-160. So you can check it online also. You have to open the official website of the United States, and then you have to go to DS-160 form, and in this form you have to fill up all the required information that they will be needing from you. So most probably it will just take about, let's say, 60 minutes or 90 minutes to do it if you already have all the documents. But if you don't have, then it will take time. For me, in my case, when I did it, it took me like 3 days to complete it because I still need to get the information from the people that I needed, who will be hosting me in the US. So in my case, when I first traveled to US, I was just being hosted. So somebody really offered their place to me, and then I stayed there. So I'm grateful for that blessing because I didn't declare that I have a relative in the US because it will complicate my application. So since they are like a distant relative and I can choose to not declare it. That's another tip that I can give for you if you're planning to apply for a US tourist visa. And then another thing is that I didn't have my hotel or any accommodation booking because I have a host already. So I just wrote down in my information there that this person will be my host, which was the mother or the parents of my Ate Karen before, and then they will be the one who will be assisting me in my stay in the US. So basically you just have to fill up all these documents that you can see in the screen right now, and then you are good to go. So another thing that you have to prepare if you are traveling to US is the visa processing fee, which is not that cheap. it will really cost you a lot. So I tell you, just be ready for it and make sure that you will really pass the interview, so, or the application. So most probably it cost around 10,000 in the Philippines, or $300 or less. It depends on the country. Approximately the amount is like that. And so yeah, this is a non-refundable amount that you have to pay when you submit your application. So this is another thing that you have to prepare. And also you have to prepare your bank statement. So I would suggest that you prepare at least 6 months of your bank statements, wherein the officer can see that there's some money in your bank account that keeps on going in and it's not being used for time being. And so yeah, so this will also help you in your application. Another thing that you have to prepare is your certificate of employment, because they will be asking in the form whether you are employed or you are unemployed, or whether you have a history working somewhere else, because they will really ask you, like, for 10 years, where did you work? For 10 years, where did you stay? Where are your siblings? Where are your family right now? So these are the things that they wanted to know when you fill up your application. So basically all of this information will be used also during the interview. I would suggest that you have to be genuine and honest in your application, because when you put some, false information, it might cause you misrepresentation of your application and might be the reason of your rejection. You have to get ready. Like, once you already submitted your application, they will ask you to pay for that form that you submitted, and then once you paid it, they will give you this number that you just have to key in your profile, your online profile in the website. And then once you key in, you can choose your appointment. So for me, I really like choosing appointments in the morning, because I believe it's the beginning of the day and it's not yet exhausting, and it's good to finish it as early as possible. So when I submitted my application, I remember it was Friday, and then I booked my appointment Monday. So I just have two days or over the weekend to prepare for my interview. Since US needs some personal appearance for the interview, so you have to go to the nearest US embassy in your country, and it will probably take around like an hour, for including the screening, including the checking, including the queuing up. So you just have to give yourself an allowance when it comes to your appointment. And another thing also, guys, if you're planning to do your interview, please don't bring anything with you, like your phone and also your wallet, because these are the things that are not allowed inside the immigration office. So I went there, and then they gave me this queue number, and then I waited, and then there were like 4 windows. So in the first window, they will call you to verify your information there, and then you have to wait again. So I waited there, and then after how many minutes they called me. So when they called me, I went to window 4. I can really remember it. So I went to window 4, and then the officer asked, actually before the officer asked me, I said good morning. So you just have to be like this. You have to be friendly, cheerful, because it will also reflect whether you are scared or I honestly would say that I was really scared, because that was my first time to apply for a tourist visa to the United States. And upon hearing a lot of stories of people who unsuccessfully did it, I mean, I can't get rid of the butterflies inside my tummy. But in my mind, I just keep on thinking that I only have this chance, so whether I will let it go or I will make it this time. So I just have that kind of mindset. This time is the most important, so I don't have to think about the other things. So I just focused in my interview. So the officer actually asked me questions which were available in the form that I submitted. So you have to make sure that you remember all the information that you put in your form before you submit it. If you can get a copy of it, much better. So the officer asked me about my name, where my family are. The officer asked me about my name, my family, where they are, and then the officer also asked me about my work history, how much do I earn, how much money do I have, like why do I want to travel to the US. So this is another tip that I can suggest to you guys, to please prepare, do not create but be honest. Prepare a reason why you wanted to travel to the United States, where in fact there are other countries that you can visit. Okay, so for me, because I'm visiting there around Christmas, so I just told the officer that I wanted to experience White Christmas, since there's no White Christmas in the in Asia. And also I told the officer that I will be turning 30, so I wanted to celebrate and make my birthday memorable by spending it in the United States. So the officer asked me actually who was my host, so I just told the officer that it's a friend, and they were like really checking whether are you going to stay there for good or whether are you going to use this visa to illegally enter the country. So this is just very common because they have to really verify everything. So the officer also asked me whether I've been to countries like Iraq, Iran, because if you've traveled to these countries, you have to provide another supporting documents. But since I didn't visited that place, so I'm safe with that. So when the officer actually asked me a lot of questions, I just answered and addressed the question. But then you have to also think of this kind of window of opportunity wherein you can really present yourself well. So when the officer asked me like, why do you want to travel to the United States? So I just told the officer that since I'm traveling a lot, I can show you my previous passports to prove that I am really into traveling nowadays. And I just pulled out my passports and then just gave it to the officer. But the copy of these passports were already available when I submitted my application, but it's just good that you have the hard copy. So I just gave it to the officer, and then the officer scanned it, check it one page per page, and then once she's done, she just passed it to me and then told me, your visa is approved. I can't believe it because I was expecting that it will take so long, but then thanks God it was very, very fast. Like I think it only ran around less than 15 minutes, including the interview. And I just went to the toilet right after that and just I wanted to cry. I can't believe that I got 10 years of valid B1 B2 visa, which will allow me to visit the United States anytime I want to. So I'm just grateful and I'm happy to share this experience to you. If you are a person who did it before and you were unsuccessful in your application, please don't give up. You can still try again. You can still modify or maybe add additional documents that will support your application. If you are a person who wanted to try it now, please don't be afraid. Just do it now, because who would have thought that, nobody can tell you whether you will get the 10 years valid visa as well. So another thing before I forget, that when you travel to the United States, when you're applying for your tourist visa, you don't have to buy a ticket yet. So this is another thing that you can consider, because you don't have to prove that you have itinerary already. So after you get the visa, then that's the time that you can buy the ticket. So I hope you learned something from my video today, guys. I'm so excited to go back or start my vlogging again, because it's been a while since I've been away. But I hope you will continue to watch my videos and be informed of the many things that I'm gonna share with you here. Until next time, have a good day and goodbye.